Got the new background. As you are joining, please make sure that you are liking for the algorithm. Let me go ahead and share with your people. Share with your peoples. Give it a sec for people to join in. We'll give people a quick little sec. Make sure that as you join, you are liking for the algorithm. Make sure as you join, you're liking for the algorithm. We need as many people in the building as possible. Oh, let me get my charger. We are charged up. We is good to go. We is good to go. Let me turn this off. They blowing up my phone, baby. Send it to your group message. Send it to your friends. Send it to your haters. Send it to everybody. We about to have a good little convo. Good little convo. It's Friday, man. I can relax a little bit. You knowing that the weekend is here. What's good, big bro? Shout out to big bro Doug in the building. All right, I'm sending it to one more group. It's Friday. It's Friday, people. We still got some pushing through to do. We still got to obviously make sure that we're performing for the day, but there is some light at the end of that tunnel. All right, there is some light at the end of that tunnel. What y'all sipping on today? I heard it's been a little bit cold in Jersey. Well, I'm asking y'all a bunch of questions. I got my lime water today. Starting off the day. That's alkaline, right? It's alkaline. Let's see how the weather is. Let's see how it's gonna be today in Miami. We got looks like it's gonna some thunderstorms. Looks like the weekend's gonna be solid. High of 91. Let's look at Jersey. How's Jersey looking? It's looking pretty rainy and cloudy but y'all gonna have a great weekend in Jersey. Actually, y'all weekend in Jersey may end up being better than here. Instead of 91, you got 86 on Saturday, 83 on Sunday. If you are somewhere else other than Jersey, let us know where you're tapping in from. But like I said, we got a lot to discuss today. It's a Hot Topic Friday. We're going back to the old school Hot Topic Fridays where we just bounce around. All right, we're gonna bounce around a bit, but there is no but. We're gonna bounce around, address a whole bunch of issues, address a whole bunch of craziness going on. And I think the best place for us to start So let me give you the rundown of what we're going to discuss. So Charlemagne and DJ Envy, they had a reaction to Candace Owens dropping the interview with Kanye. We got a little bit of Bill O'Reilly and Jon Stewart. Apparently, we got two ops coming together. Bill O'Reilly was on Jon Stewart's show, and I thought they had an interesting interaction. I have a question for y'all. Why do we not demand politicians? Why do we not demand politicians to have real plans? What's up with that? Why do they not have to have a business plan? We're going to get into that. We got a video that Matt Walsh did on Kamala's husband. Didn't know too much information about Kamala's husband, but we will after today. The importance of learning history. Why it's important to know history, because history repeats itself. And I have an interesting video. Matter of fact, I have to download the other video, but I have an interesting video to show y'all regarding history repeating itself in a way that you may not have thought. Then I got a question about the education system. This is a question that was brought up on the Candace Owens with Dave Smith. I'm telling you, she's been dropping some good interviews, and it's about the education system, whether or not it's dumbing us down, and something that we were supposed to touch on last show about Kenya. We're going to talk about them eliminating all their divorce settlements and why certain things are incentivized with marriage, and then or why certain things incentivize us to get married and other plans incentivize us to be single, and what we should take away from that. So the first story of today, we are going to go to DJ Envy and Charlemagne. Yeah. In case you don't know, just to give a little context, it just is what it is. They are very much on the pro Kamala side of things. So that is where they are always going to lean, in my opinion. And that's why if you do see the video and you hear like, yeah, why they seem like they taking a little shots or whatever at people, that's why. They are just, it just is what it is. For a lot of people, they don't know that Charlemagne was actually on Kamala Harris's presidential campaign before, touring with her. So that may or may not, represent some bias for y'all. I don't know. It is what it is. But let's take a look at this. We'll start off with reacting to this, and then we will move forward from there.
Unreleased interview with Kanye West. Now, this interview.
Let me know if you guys have an issue with the volume. It's playing a little bit different on my computer now. Not really sure why. But yeah, just with the new computer, it plays a little different. So just let me know if you guys have any issues with the volume, if it's not clear, if you need me to make any adjustments.
Now, yesterday, Candace Owens shared an unreleased interview with Kanye West. Now, this interview is from 2022. Why she released it now, I have no idea. But during the conversation,
it's so disingenuous from the beginning. Why she's releasing it now? She wasn't able to release it, Envy. And she made that very clear. She was working for a company, the Daily Wire. Ben Shapiro is one of the founders. And because Candace Owens was having a lot of back and forths or a lot of disagreements and wasn't on the same page, she actually got fired, or they agreed to let her go. I don't know what it was, but Candace Owens was saying a lot of things, bringing a lot of attention to Israel and Judaism and a lot of Jewish people. And Daily Wire didn't like that. They're pretty much a Jewish-owned company. It is what it is, just being straightforward. That's perfectly fine if somebody's, whatever. And this was during the time where Kanye had made the DEF CON comments on talking about a lot of Jewish people. So, makes sense. But for Envy to sit here and act as if he doesn't know why she couldn't release it when she made that very clear, it's just disingenuous and just says a lot about the context of the conversation and going into it. And you're presenting this, in my opinion, in a disingenuous way to your audience.
He spoke about some of the anti-Semitic tweets that he put out, and this was the reason why he said he put these tweets out.
Did you know the word alcohol?
Even how he just phrased that. He spoke about some of the anti-Semitic tweets that he put out. Bro, Kanye did not acknowledge that his tweets were anti-Semitic. Matter of fact, the interviews about opening up to understand why he doesn't feel that the comments that he put out, the things that he put out were anti-Semitic. Envy, this is just what, notice how other cultures protect their own. Notice how other cultures protect their own, or at least give a straight, like, objective standpoint. You just came into the interview. Oh, I don't know why she put out this interview now. Kanye's responding about the anti-Semitic tweets he put out. Bro, that's not, it's just disingenuous. It's bad journalism.
He spoke about some of the anti-Semitic tweets that he put out, and this was the reason why he said he put these tweets out.
Did you know the word alcohol
is from the spirit Akule?
Yes.
Absolutely.
You knew that?
Yeah.
I believe that.
It
literally, kills your spirit and allows demons to come in and take over. Like, I 100% believe that.
I definitely was drinking when I put up the DEFCON treat. You know whose alcohol I had inside me?
Who?
But I don't know. Hennessy. It turns us gray. And literally the demons
just come in. Yeah, no, I was fascinated when I learned that, the history of that. And it's literally because when you drink, you become a different person. It's almost literally like a spirit has taken over you. That's why they call them spirits.
Now, him playing this, when he first started off, Envy said this is the reason why he put out the tweets. If you listen to the interview, that is not why. Kanye, matter of fact, made it very clear that he didn't even want to come out and because Candace asked him, why didn't you let people know that you were drinking when you put the tweet out? And he said, because I didn't want it to be, I did it because I was drinking. And he said, sometimes stuff comes out when you're drinking. So Envy is trying to make it seem and frame it in a way where it's Kanye copping a plea, pretty much saying like, yo, the only reason I put out this tweet was because I was drunk. If you listen to the interview, he lets it be known very clearly why he put out those tweets and goes into great detail. But of course, Envy, working in the music industry and just being a pawn of whatever agenda, he just puts out and presents information in a super biased way, in a super misleading way, because that's what everybody else does. We cannot trust the news that we're getting from these quote unquote news sources. We can't trust. I mean, I don't know why we would be trusting the Breakfast Club anyway, but we can't trust any of these news outlets. The information that they are putting out with an agenda to convince us one way or another to hear the information in a particular way. People should go, what they should be saying is go watch the interview. Go watch the full interview. You may learn some things. You may get some more insight on why Kanye put up those tweets. You may still dislike him. You may like him. It doesn't matter. You should go to the interview. But presenting the information in a misleading way, it's just wrong. And then look at here comes Mr. Mental Health.
Yeah.
What else?
Also, I was telling you about Kanye West and who's addicted to laughing gas. Now, allegedly, Kanye's ex-chief of staff, Milo, is alleging that Kanye is addicted to laughing gas. He claims Kanye's dentist abused his position and kept giving him laughing gas. Allegedly, Kanye spent more than $50,000 per month, and he would supply enormous quantities of this gas. Now, if you don't know what it does, you usually take it when you get to the dentist. It makes it, you don't feel as much pain. Now, laughing gas can always cause feelings of euphoria, but prolonged use has side effects such as erratic behavior, mood swings, paranoia, and violence.
Nowhere in this interview was anything that Envy just said discussed. At least as far as what I saw. And I watched the entire interview. This is what they do. Notice how when people start to speak up and are not controlled, they try to throw the loony stuff out there. They do it with RFK Jr. Whenever you speak up against the establishment, there's people that will try to they will try to discredit everything that you're saying. So therefore, the people that they have influence over will hear what this particular person is saying and just be like, oh man, they're on drugs. They're loony. Their family doesn't even, they do the same thing literally with RFK Jr. and Kanye. Their family thinks they're crazy. Their family doesn't agree with them. We had to take away Kanye's. The people that they try to make us seem are crazy. This is why when society tries to blackball somebody or try to cancel somebody, I look into them. This is why I had no idea who Andrew Tate was. But as soon as they started trying to cancel him, I looked into him and I understood exactly why they're trying to cancel him. And it wasn't because of the thing of why they're trying to act like it. He's a harm to society. No, he's a response to society, a much needed response to society. In a lot of ways, when you look at the manhood, and when we're going to take a look at with Matt Walsh's documentary, how they've been trying to, for years, call this toxic masculinity thing to just emasculate men. And then we end up in a position like we're in right now with weak male leadership. This is what happens. This is the problem with these people that are bought and paid for, that just try to tear other people down, that are actually willing to stand on truth, willing to call out the industry, willing to call out the industry heads, the people that are running things. The people that are in power, all they do is just shift out. They give a couple people some crumbs, give some people some money like a DJ Envy and Charlemagne, and then they'll push whatever narrative it is that they want to be pushed.
Which people are saying are allegedly consistent with Kanye's behavior. Now, they are saying that Kanye, this could be part of the reasons why Kanye is acting the way that he is, and he wants these allegations and charges to go against Kanye's dentist, so his license could be suspended, and this happens to nobody again.
What's sad, man, is that brothers like Kanye, they deal with mental health issues, they deal with substance abuse issues, and they never get the help.
Charlemagne should actually watch the interview. Kanye actually, Candace asked him, so why were you in the hospital? For exhaustion. That was his response. So you could say what you're saying, Charlemagne, but why don't you actually also include what Kanye said about him, himself? All these dudes do, though, they are bought and paid for puppets. Talking about mental health, talking about all these things. They do the same thing. You notice what's so funny? You notice what's so funny? That all of these people that they try to call crazy, if you asked, okay, well, what did they say that was like, you think that was so crazy? Like what exactly was said? And what's coming to mind right now is a Kyrie Irving. What exactly was said? Everybody tries to blackball these people that come out and say certain things that we're not used to people saying, but what exactly is so crazy about what they're saying? How is Kanye West, and he actually talks about this in his interview, he's so crazy, he struggles with mental health, he struggles with this. Bro, put some respect on bro's name. Before he came out and said these type of things, and y'all decided to try to cancel him and tarnish him and get rid of this Balenciaga deal, get rid of this Adidas deal, get rid of all these things, he knew the risk that he was taking. But before all that, he was also the richest. Y'all like to throw that, first black this, first black this, first black this. Well, he was the richest black man in the world at one time. I don't know too many people that are the richest, one of the richest people in the world, and whenever you have a conversation discussing them, it's led by, oh yeah, they struggle with mental health and substance abuse. Damn. They were able to be that successful. Music, tough industry, fashion, extremely tough industry. Able to be more successful than all their peers that have tried to do the very same thing. But y'all want to lead with he struggles with mental health and substance abuse rather than saying, yo, dude may be a genius. But that's what they do. And it's not just about Kanye. I'm sure that you could bring about certain things that Kanye did say or do. Some are coming to mind, or, that are off, that are worse than insensitive. You could understand how these things that he says would really, really hurt some people. One comment in particular, that's really the only one that really comes to mind. I don't want to say it on here, But he said something about him loving a particular person that obviously would upset a lot of people, not just people that this person did a Holocaust with, but just people overall, people that care about humanity. Perhaps. You know, obviously I can't say it, but I know well, I don't have to say perhaps because other people are upset. But when you try to minimize everything else this person has done, everything else this person has said because of one comment, to me, that's wrong. And when you have your own people tearing you down, to me, it's wrong.
They truly need, because they be having so many enablers around them. And, you know, people online will say things like they always want to say somebody is crazy and on drugs when they speak out about certain things. No, that person really is on drugs. You know what I mean? That person is really dealing with substance abuse issues. That person is really dealing.
How does Charlamagne know what bought and paid for
with mental health issues? And I don't care how much money you make. I don't care how famous you get. You cannot run from yourself. Your demons will always catch up with you, which is why I'm always, you know, pushing.
What does any of this have to do with the interview? What does anything that they're saying have to do with the interview? For one, I'm going to assume based on what they're saying, they didn't even watch the interview. These are the people that have a syndicated show that are giving our information. Matter of fact, you know what's so funny? We have a cultural issue, right? We have a cultural issue. I would say in America, but especially within the Black community. We have a cultural issue. A lot of conversations have come up about the education system, and we're going to talk about it a little bit later on in the show. First, let's actually keep it with sports. Do you know what happens to a coaching staff when the team loses and loses and loses? They get fired. Then if the team continues to lose, then they're going to fire the vice president or the general manager. Then they're going to fire the VP, fire the president. When you do not perform, you get fired. Now I want to bring it to the education system. The education system. Everybody got upset, and apparently the 2025 project is looking to destroy the education system. The education system has been failing. They've been failing. So what's the problem with destroying something that has not been working? What's the problem with that? And I lost a little bit of my train of thought.
Your demons will always catch up with you.
I lost a little bit of my train of thought, but my point still stands as far as we seem to not understand how things work. Hold on. I said sports. What did I say before the maybe y'all can help me out a little bit. What did I just say before? Damn, what did I start off by saying? See, I done tried to relate it to sports, then started to the education system, but what before the education system did I mention? Well, it's the same thing. The education system. Fire everybody. It's not working. It is not working. So rather than sit here and just try to make excuses for a system that doesn't work, no, it's not working. Therefore, it needs to be terminated. And we need to figure out something better. Damn, I lost my train of thought. That's why sometimes you got to go off the notes when I start going off on my tangents. Y'all know what it is. What was I saying? All right, it is what it is. We'll catch it on the back end. But it was something going at like Charlamagne and all them. Let me actually, hold on. Let me go back 5 seconds of what he said. Maybe I'll
dealing with mental health issues. And I don't care how much money you make. I don't care how famous you get. You cannot run from yourself. Your demons will always catch up with you, which is why I'm always, you know, pushing folks to go do some type of healing, go to therapy, do something. Because if you don't deal with your trauma will ultimately deal with you. Better believe that.
Now, yesterday,
once again, it has absolutely nothing to do with the interview. Absolutely nothing to do with it. Be careful what people do. Be careful how people try to sway you one way or another and try to throw that mental health tag and substance abuse tag on certain people that are just willing to say certain things that your scary ass is not willing to. All right, let me keep going. Let's go. All right, so the next video, I want to show y'all this video. I thought it was funny. This was a Jon Stewart, and it was funny, but I thought it was a very good video because a lot of times when we talk about political candidates, it's almost like, oh, well, I like this person because of this. I like this person. People just rationalize whatever they need to do to justify who they want to vote for and who they don't want to vote for. They will just come up with reasons. And this was an interesting exchange because very rarely do you see people actually say, oh, well, I think Trump's better than Biden, and it's because of A, B, and C. I think Biden's better than Trump because of A, B, and C. And we had a situation like that occur on Jon Stewart's show. So, and damn, I'm still mad that I couldn't figure out that connection that I was looking to make. When I go back and look at it, I'm gonna be like, oh, it's you. All right, that's what you were looking to say. All right, let's take a look at this.
Okay.
Well, I understand that.
I can back it up. Do you want me to?
I disagree with that, but that's
Of course you do, but that's okay.
Well, I understand that.
I can back it up. Do you want me to?
Okay, I mean,
I'm going to ruin your day. I'm going to ruin your day, Stuart. Food prices under Biden up 20%. Gas prices 38%.
Yeah.
Mortgage rates 160%.
Yeah, prices are going up.
Drug ODs up 36%. Okay? Car insurance 125% up. Right. These are folks. They have to spend that money.
Listen, there's no question that post-pandemic.
Are people aware of that? Because I very rarely, and shout out to Bill O'Reilly for that, I very rarely hear people actually just discussing. Like people will say like, oh, my Social Security, or oh, this, or oh, that. But I very rarely hear people say things that everybody is dealing with. When it comes to gas, when it comes to the inflation of prices, when it comes to, and you hear it with the housing. But what's so funny is, it's almost as if you like a particular candidate, like let's say if you like Biden and you see an issue and somebody brings up inflation, it's like your natural response is to be like, oh, well, that started with Trump, or it started with the pandemic. Nobody really actually says the issues. And there was another interesting video that I was watching it was actually on a liberal station, and the guy, I think it was the guy Kramer. I may be wrong, but he was talking about how, hey, it's very simple. If you care about the economy, you'll vote for Trump. If you care about other things, then you may not vote for Trump. And this was on a liberal station. But it just is, when you look back at these numbers, and what I also wanted to highlight is when he said that the overdoses, I believe, were 30% up. We're up 30%. That's something that is never discussed, at least on my end, when it comes to the border crisis. Which is, I didn't know that it was such a strong correlation. Maybe shame on me. It is what it is. Strong correlation between us having the border issues and fentanyl getting into the United States of America. When you think about that number up 30%, that is a significant number when it comes to people ODing. Now, I'm sure there's a lot of factors that go into that. I'm sure there's a lot of factors that you talk about. Mental health, Charlemagne. Isn't that seems like a big mental health issue? I'm going to play the video again from the beginning, and you guys, I just want you to hear the numbers. This is why people are complaining about their groceries going up, things costing so much, things being unlivable. Maybe this is a reason why people are now a little bit more open to voting for somebody else, because I don't know how bad this is going to get. But people, I'll be totally honest, people don't care. People are just going to vote for who they want to vote for, justify it with whatever reason they need to justify it for, even though they can't buy a house because of the mortgage rate, because of inflation, because of all these different things. Doesn't matter. We're still going to support who we support.
This country and
rates are high. Of course you do.
I disagree with that, but that's
of course you do, but that's okay.
Well, I understand that.
I can back it up. Do you want me to?
Okay, I mean,
I'm going to ruin your day. I'm going to ruin your day, Stuart. Food prices under Biden up 20%. Gas prices 38%.
Yeah.
Mortgage rates 160%.
Yeah, prices are going up.
Drug ODs up 36%. Okay.
36.
Car insurance 125% up.
Right.
These are folks. They have to spend that money.
Listen, there's no question that post-pandemic, this country and the world have suffered
Trump
from
had 2 years of post-pandemic.
That's former Fox News.
I'm mad I didn't play that first part in the beginning. What did I say, yo? What did I say? The first thing that you bring up is, oh, well, it's the pandemic. You know, you start making excuses for the candidate that you actually like. Oh, well, actually, Trump had 2 years of that. So what's your point about that? It's just, I'm learning more and more when it comes to politics. People are just going to make whatever decisions that they want to make. Logic is completely out the window. Nobody cares. This is at an all-time low when it comes to actually being educated and being knowledgeable about certain things. People are just go with the flow, sheepish mentalities, and that's just what they're cool with. That's just what they're cool with. People would rather, and we're getting ready to get into, I got a little reference from Project 2025. People would rather run around and scream about all the things that Project 2025 is going to do. It's going to put you back in shackles and chains rather than actually reading it. It's the boogeyman that they're hiding from us, right? We don't know what they're going to do, but we just know that we're going to end up in shackles and chains. Oh, wait, you're telling me that I can actually read it? So let me read there's an interesting I'm like 100 pages in. So I thought that it was going to take me about 3 months. It looks like it's going to take me about a month and a half to get through everything. So I'm excited as I'm going through the entire project because I'm learning a lot about how the government actually just functions. I did not know a lot about this. So I want to read to you guys. Hold on page 79. I got my notes right here. Apparently there's a huge issue when it comes to government employees where they can't get fired. And there's a lot of government employees, and I'm learning this with Project 2025, that they are responsible for making a lot of the policies, pushing a lot of these policies that end up law, or they are also sheltered from getting fired. And it's because when you're working for a government agency that may, let's say you report to the president, they don't want a Republican candidate to come in and just say, oh, this person, I'm going to fire them because they're not Republican. Or a Democrat candidate coming in and saying, oh, I'm going to fire this person because they're not Democrat. So they're shielded in a particular way. But what ends up happening is that because they're shielded, they don't have to perform to any good standard while at work because you can't fire them. So a lot of these government employees, and this is why some people will choose to hire contractors rather than to bring people on. They have like the benefits that they receive. It's just a lot. And y'all know me, I'm a performance-based guy. I do not think that when you just pay somebody based on, oh, we're going to pay you this amount every week, whether you have a good week, bad week, I do not think people will perform at their best. I don't. I think people perform at their best, or people are moved by incentivization, right? Just like a lot of these social programs, how they incentivize us not getting married. They know that, oh, when you use a certain level of incentivization, then it's going to push people to do what you want them to do even more. So in this situation, if you want people to perform at a high level, if you want people to bring their best, then their bonuses. Why is it not performance-based? I'm reading through the 2025 project, and they're saying that everybody, it's the type of thing where you have supervisors, and your supervisors are given the role to evaluate, the people's performance underneath them. And it was saying in the 2025 project that it's just become a thing where it's just like a checklist, where it's like, oh, performing at a high standard, performing at a high standard, performing at a high standard, so people can get their bonuses. And in all actuality, it's just incentivizing people to just show up to work and not give their best. So I'm going to read a page from there. I'm not going to pull it up on the screen, but I'm going to read a page. I should have it bookmarked. And this is going to lead us into our next topic. My fault. Hold on. I lost my notes. All right, page 79. All right, here we go. A logical place to begin would be to identify and eliminate functions and programs that are duplicated across cabinet departments or spread across multiple agencies. Congress hoped to help this effort by passing the Government Performance and Results Act of 1993, which required all federal agencies to define their missions, establish goals and objectives, and measure and report their performance to Congress. 3 decades of endless time-consuming reports later, the government continues to grow, but with more paper and little change either in performance or in the number of levels between government and the people. Should I read this next one? All right, so yeah, I wanted to highlight that. And the reason why I wanted to highlight that is this seems pretty simple, right? When you hear about, and particularly, which required all federal agencies to define their missions, establish goals and objectives, and measure and report their performance to Congress. That's why I wanted to read that, because I had a question for y'all. Have a question for y'all. What are y'all voting for? What are y'all voting for? What's the plan that you're voting for? You're voting for Trump? Okay, cool. What's Trump's plan? Because Trump has disassociated himself from the Project 2025. He said, I don't act as if he doesn't know what it is. All right, cool. So what's your plan, Trump? RFK Jr., what's your plan? Now, you've been more transparent than than the others, I would say, about what you actually plan to do. But where's your plan that we can read? Kamala Harris, Biden. Where is your plan based on the 4 years that you've been in office? Where's the evaluation of what you were able to accomplish, what you fell short of, all these different things? How do we have a higher standard for the employees that work for the presidential office than the actual president? How do we, I'm talking about we, it's on us. How do we not demand a presidential candidate to have a plan so that 4 years from now or as they're going through the presidency, things are very clear on what we're voting for? This is what we would like to accomplish while we're in office. These are the ways that we would like to go about doing it. And then afterwards, evaluate it maybe every year. This is where we need to improve on regular business plan stuff, right? I put up a video the other day that you can't even go into a bank and try to get a loan of $20,000 without the bank trying to get a little bit of information about, hey, so what's your plan? Maybe you can now. I don't know. Maybe that's why the banks are what it is, and maybe that's why inflation is what it is. Try to, matter of fact, do it like this. For all y'all smart Alex out there. Try to borrow $1,000 from your family. And your family will want you to jump through hoops, have a business plan, have a contingency plan. If it goes this way. They will try to, they will talk about Shark Tank. Try to borrow $1,000 from your family to start a business. But you're telling me that we will passionately argue about people and argue about who we're voting for, who's better, who's this, who's that, but we don't even require them to have a plan, something that we can read, something that they can be held accountable for? Other than that, what is it? It's just word mumbo. It's just mumbo jumbo, right? Oh, well, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. I would have loved to see a plan about Barack Obama. But you know what? I'm lying. I would love to see it now. At the time, I did not give a damn about anything that Barack was trying to push through because I was just voting for him because he's black. And that was socially acceptable at the time, right? Which is just extremely racist. It's just solving racism with racism. Because and all these black folk, and it's so funny when you talk to people, these may be the conversations that I walk away from, just understanding how lost we are as a society. It was socially acceptable for us to run around and say, I'm only voting for Barack because he's black. I want a black president. That was perfectly fine. And then we wonder why. Remember earlier how I said that Andrew Tate is a reaction? You know, you keep trying to emasculate men, and eventually there's going to be some strong men that you think are over the top because they got to go to war with everybody else and the influences that are pushing people to be emasculated. Donald Trump was a response to us being blatantly racist, an entire group of people, and it being socially acceptable. I'm only voting for him because he's black. Oh, let me guess, for the blackity black folk out there, black people can't be racist. Goofiest, dumb thing that I've ever heard. If you think that you can't be racist, then black people don't have the power to be racist. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? If I own a corporation, if I own a company, and a couple people are trying to become my assistants, and I say, oh, nah, man, just black people. Your resume is better than this other black person, but you're white. I'm just going with the black person. That's racist. Oh, black people can't be institutionally racist. Bro, people have lied and manipulated us into thinking that a particular way of thinking is okay, and it's not. It's just as racist as somebody else just getting a job because they're white. Right? Isn't that what we always say? Isn't that the entire reason behind DEI? Isn't that the entire reason behind your democratic social programs and DEI? So it's okay. So it's not okay for somebody to just get a job or to somebody get a favorable opportunity just because they're white. But it's perfectly okay for us to just sit here and say, I'm only voting for this person because they're black. And to just think that for that energy that we're putting out, there's not going to be a reaction to that we do not like. But that's the world that we live in. It doesn't matter about your performance. It's just, who do we like at that particular time? So when we have these conversations, it has nothing to do with your performance. It has nothing to do with us evaluating the things that you did. It has nothing to do with any of that. And the reason why I said I would have liked to see Barack's now is because if I knew that Barack was pushing all this LGBTQ, transgender, I'm not talking about the people. I'm talking about the movement. Let me be very clear. I separate the movement from the people. And a lot of the people, it's just like with the Democrats and the Republican parties, how there's an extreme few that set the tone on the entire party. It's the same thing with the LGBTQ or any other group. Most people that believed in Black Lives Matter, an example, I believed in it. I didn't believe in it to scam people, but there was an extreme part of the group that was running it, that their entire existence was based on just scamming black people and destroying the black family. We didn't know that. We did not see a plan. If I would have known the things that Barack Obama was looking to implement, I would have thought twice. If I was being intelligent and logical, rather than just emotionally racist, then I would have looked at the plan and said, like, what? This is what he's doing? I don't know if I'm with that. So when we sit here and see a Tim Walz who is okay with putting tampons in boys' bathrooms, what did I say on the last show? We always have to we can't look at things and just say, oh, how did I get here? Oh, well, I'm here. Bro, how did we get here? What things did we miss? What things did they squeak past us to get to this point? And when they do not have business plans, when they do not have plans to let us know what they're looking to do, to let us know the things that they are looking to accomplish so we can hold them accountable, and it can serve as a working playbook. Because although everybody talks all this crazy stuff about Project 2025, people who haven't read it and people will still be sitting here listening to me talk, having ill thoughts about it. You're lazy. You're not going to read it. So just stop. Don't say anything else about it because you're too lazy to actually read it. You're not going to do it. I'm reading it. And the good thing about it is that it's not just saying this is what we want to do, this is what we want. It's detailed in teaching people how the government works and how, if they're looking to accomplish certain things, that it should go about this way because they tried to go about it this way and it didn't work. And they even call out certain stuff. They call out Trump. They don't. It's not like they're just bashing Democrats in this write-up. As far as, like I said, I'm 100 pages in. They call out certain things. Hey, Trump tried this, it didn't work. Kennedy tried this with the unions. Reagan tried this. It's going through whatever. Take it or leave it. It is what it is. That's not even the main point of this conversation. The main point of this conversation is shame on us. We are not a serious group of people. We are not a serious group of people. And it's shown when the president, you can run for president without even putting together a business plan. I'm sorry, a plan. Well, corporation plan, whatever you want to call it. Who's that on? I don't know. All right, so let's move on to the next one. Let's move on to the next. Keeps bringing me back. All right, so what's the next thing that we have to discuss? Oh, okay. I want to show y'all this documentary, or not documentary, this little clip from Matt Walsh's show. Hold on one second. Hold up. I thought that this was cool. It gives a little bit of insight on who Kamala Harris's husband is, and maybe some insight on the direction of where this country's going. And this is a big topic for me, because I've noticed how this whole toxic masculinity thing, when it first came about years ago, I couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand them trying to act as if, there's a problem with men being overly masculine. Bro, very convenient for you guys, but in all actuality, let me ask the ladies. Ladies, when we look around, do we think that we have a problem with men being too masculine? Or is the problem that men are not being masculine? Men are not able to protect. Men are not able to provide. You look at the old school gym classes, and maybe I'll show a clip of that, what men used to be, strong, all these different things. Men, we are weak and we are unintelligent. What is masculine about that? So here we have a problem where we struggle with the lack of masculinity, but they put this toxic word on it to emphasize something that's not even there. That there's a group of men that are just overly masculine. No, that is a response to you guys trying to emasculate us. And let's just go with the video. Like I said, this is something that I'm very passionate about. I've gotten into debates when it comes to a lot of this stuff. And Queez, matter of fact, shout out to Queez. Queez, you brought up a great point, and shame on me for not. Hold on one second. Queez brought up a great point. Ice Cube had a plan. Mayor Bloomberg even had a plan. And you know what's funny, Queez? I don't know if I was hoping. Bloomberg probably just said, man, I got money. I ain't messing around with these dumbass politics. But I was liking Bloomberg, or I was intrigued. I was intrigued by Bloomberg. He put out, it was very last minute, him deciding to run, but, he went right to Tulsa. He was talking about Black Wall Street, talking about all these things, and was actually in the field with it. And I wanted to see where he would go. I wanted to see where he would go with it. But obviously, after that first debate, he just wasn't ready for that. Like, he wasn't ready. And I guess he just decided, man, I ain't messing with this. But yeah, Ice Cube had a plan. If Ice Cube can bring together different people, and I'm not saying Ice Cube like he went to write an album and he just wrote out a business plan by himself. No, he reached out to Claude Anderson, financial experts, people that have been in politics, all these different types of people. Brought together a team, Boyce Watkins, an economist. They brought together different people, put together a plan. A plan. Nobody wanted to see it. Nobody cared. Matter of fact, the Democrats wouldn't even meet with him. They said, we'll talk to you after the election. Trump took a meeting with him, though, or his team did. All right, let's get into this Matt Walsh video, and let's learn a little bit about the first or second gentleman.
Today for our daily cancellation, we canceled Doug Emhoff. Now, if you don't know who Doug Emhoff is, he is the second gentleman. And if you don't know what the second gentleman is, that's the name we apparently use for the vice president's husband. It is, frankly, kind of an embarrassing title for a man to hold, but then Doug Emhoff is an embarrassing man. Over the weekend, it was revealed that Emhoff, who has been married to Kamala Harris for about 10 years, had an affair that ended his first marriage, his previous marriage. Fox News reports, second gentleman Doug Emhoff, the husband of Vice President Kamala Harris, admitted Saturday to having an extramarital affair during his first marriage after a bombshell report by the Daily Mail reported he got his children's nanny pregnant. Quote, during my first marriage, Kirsten and I went through some tough times on account of my actions, he said in a statement to CNN. I took responsibility, and in the years since, we worked through things as a family and have come out stronger on the other side. Emhoff did not return Fox News Digital's request for comment, but gave the statement to the Harris-friendly news network hours after the Daily Mail story broke. The affair ended the marriage, according to the Daily Mail, which reported the nanny was also a teacher at Emhoff's children's school. The report said the woman, who Fox News Digital is not naming, did not keep the baby, though it is unclear what happened to the baby or if...
So they doing all these stories on my boy RFK with the babysitter. And here Kamala's been in office. I didn't hear any of this. I didn't know any of this. But I don't even care about any of this. Let me be very clear. That's what he did in his marriage. I don't care. I don't care. It really, it is what it is. It's just part of the story. It is what it is. And when I say I don't care, I don't mean like I don't care if he hurt that woman. I don't care if he, got that woman pregnant. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that it's not something that is the main point of why I'm playing this video. The main point why I'm playing this video is to take a look at what type of man this is. And then this is the person who's now going to come out and lecture us on me being too toxically masculine. That's why I'm highlighting it.
Emhoff has ever been involved in the child's life. Now, and first of all, can I just say, you did not.
Hold on.
Who reported the nanny was also a teacher at Emhoff's children's school. The report said the woman, who Fox News Digital is not naming, did not keep the baby, though it is unclear what happened to the baby or if Emhoff has ever been involved in the child's life. Now, and first of all, can I just say, you did not come out stronger on the other end? It's like the idea that, well, you had an affair and it made your family stronger. No, you're not married anymore. It tore your family apart. Your family's not stronger now. And there's, in general, affairs do not make a marriage stronger. Hopefully a marriage will survive it. It's not going to make it stronger, though. You've actually permanently weakened your marriage.
Facts.
Permanently. In any case, I've read reports elsewhere that the nanny mistress may have had a miscarriage. And I don't know. I mean, is that the case, or did they employ more proactive means of ending the pregnancy? Or was the child born? And if so, has he been neglected and banished the same way that Joe Biden has shunned the granddaughter that his son Hunter had out of wedlock? There's no way for us to know for sure. We just don't know. Now, I would normally say that the marital affairs of the second gentleman are not relevant to voters. And I would still say that here, there are countless reasons to not vote for Kamala Harris. The fact that her husband got the nanny pregnant 15 years ago doesn't even make the top 50 on the...
And just to be clear with the Biden, I'm not familiar with that. So you guys take that how you want to take it, Yeah.
list. But even if this has no electoral significance, it still matters. And it matters for one reason above all, that Doug Emhoff, the guy who ruined his first marriage by sleeping with and impregnating the nanny, is now on a crusade against so-called toxic masculinity. Indeed, a headline in the Washington Post tells us that Emhoff himself is, quote, the antidote to toxic masculinity. But what is toxic masculinity, and why does it need an antidote, at least according to Emhoff? Well, here he is in an interview with CNN in 2022 explaining.
There is still a bit of a stigma with the notion of men taking a step back and being openly supportive of a woman who has a bigger role and a bigger job than the man does. Are you trying to intentionally destigmatize that?
Definitely.
You think about it.
I do. I do, not at the beginning, because this was a no-brainer, but now that I'm in the role, and you really see like not all men naturally would do this and would push back, and then there's this toxicity, this
Yo. Yes, not all men would do this. In my opinion, I don't think all men should. And this is why I believe that a lot of these Democratic men, these liberal men, they're being disingenuous. They're lying to themselves. They're lying to the world. This is not a conservative approach as far as what I'm getting ready to say, as far as men feeling like they need to work. Men feeling that they need to be the main provider. That'll be that. Is that like a breaking conservative type of Republican stance? I didn't know that was just a conservative Republican thing. So that's why I say the Democratic men and liberal men are lying. You're being disingenuous. You know damn well that you do not want your wife making more money than you. You know exactly what comes from that. You know that that's going to put you in a very challenging position. Let's just be real. Considering where we are in society, considering how society is pushing women, trying to empower women by any means possible, to sit here and act as if, oh, fellas, nothing wrong with your wife, having a more significant job than you. There's nothing wrong with you, maybe staying at home and doing. If that's what you want to do, then you do that. You do that. But the dynamics of your relationship, let's not sit here and act as if it's not going to be an issue. This is why people like Trump. This is why people like Trump, because these liberal men that they put on TV, they always, whether it's the Van Jones, they're always pushing some emasculated message, teaming up with the LGBTQ trans, pushing some weird stuff. Okay with Tim Walz putting tampons in boys' bathrooms. Like, this is why people are drawn to Trump. Because he's just keeping it real. You can call it an asshole. You can call it whatever you want. We played the video the other day with Trump on stage with the National Association of Black Journalists. This is why they have 3 black women on stage and not 1 black man. Could you imagine Trump sitting down with the National Association of Black Journalists and just having black men being represented as the people that are going to interview him? Black women would have a fit. And black men know it. And other men know it. But it's okay for them to have 3 black women on stage interviewing Trump. Nobody said, hey, maybe, let's DEI this thing out, right? Because they don't even really believe in DEI. They just believe in creating advantages for their people, because they felt like, oh, well, yeah, I haven't had advantages in the past, so therefore now I deserve to have unfair advantages. It's the same logic when it comes to the black. Oh, I'm just voting for Barack because he's black. Oh, it's okay if I do it. I know it's racist if white people do it, but if black people do it, it's because I'm owed something. It's because, well, they've been doing it for so long. So now this mindset, it's like the kids that are, oh, he hit me, so I hit him. Oh, well, he hit me. It never goes anywhere. This is the juvenile mindset that America has adopted. This is the juvenile mindset that the world has adopted, where we have these wars where it's just going to keep going back and forth. War is not the answer, right? It just goes back and forth. But getting back, I don't know how we got off on this tangent talking about war when it comes to him. But this is why I'm saying people are drawn. These liberal men are lying. They are pushing and allowing our men to be emasculated. And this is why men are being drawn to the Republican Party and more conservative values.
This masculine idea of what a man is that's out there that is just not correct.
How does he know? How does he know what's correct? What, based on your track record? You know what being a man is? Based on his amazing physique? What is it? Maybe it's based on his amazing intelligence. I don't know what it is. He's just on a mission to emasculate men and to make himself feel comfortable about the position that he's in. Truth be told, fellas, don't do it. Don't do it. And this is why it bothers me because I'm really identifying liberal Democratic men. It bothers me because they know it deep down. They know it. They know it. They see what society's doing to our young men. They see what's going to happen when you have over 70% of our kids growing up without a father, without two parents in the household, and the majority of them being raised by their mother. Our men are being emasculated.
Now, he's right, by the way, at least about the first part. Not all men would be willing to play first lady or second lady, even worse, to their wives and become a stay-at-home husband.
Fellas, do not ever get comfortable. I'm sorry to say it. Ladies, y'all can push back all you want. My recommendation, fellas, do not ever get comfortable with your woman making more than you. Stay in your purpose. I don't care. And it's not just about the money, but a large portion of it is. And even if your significant other is making more money than you, do not ever feel that you give up your purpose and what you're working for. And this is another thing. People have no purpose these days. It's like if you ask kids or ask adults, hey, what is the purpose? What is the legacy that you are leaving behind? Like, you've been on this earth, when it's time for you to transition, what is the legacy? What are you going to be known for? How did you help society in a positive way? What impact did you bring to society? What's your purpose? Fellas, do not ever take a allow your significant other to take a backseat to your purpose, bro. They're not even going to respect you for it. And this is the problem. You have these men that are coming up here saying these type of things. And the women will go along with it for a certain amount of time. But at a certain point in time, I would imagine that a woman kind of like, yo, I don't feel like working no more. Like, God damn, I've been putting in 20 years of this, holding the family down, bro. And now they're looking at you, who's been taking a back seat for 20 years, and now you got to readjust and try to figure out and get out there on the market and make things shake at 40, 50, 60 years old. Because you decided to put your purpose to the side, to empower your significant. Do what you do. Do whatever you do. But us sitting here and acting as if that's not going to cause some serious issues and throw off the dynamics. Women already looking at men like we ain't shit. You really think that what's going to change that is to just, well, let me just support you being something. I know I ain't shit, baby. Let me just support you. You think that's the answer?
I wouldn't be a stay-at-home husband. Providing for my family is my fundamental purpose on earth, and I would never give that up.
Hold on. Maya just wrote, oh, shoot. My fault. I didn't even see the chat jumping. My fault. Y'all funny. All right, my bad. I got used to not checking the chat. Queens Rose sucker. Ant wrote toxicity. Ant wrote, I hate this agenda, bro. It's disgusting what they are doing to young men. Disgusting. So when you think that, oh, well, I'm just voting against Trump because Trump's an asshole and da-da-da-da. Well, what are you voting for if you're voting against Trump? If that's your only energy, oh, I'm just voting against Trump. Well, why don't you look into what your vote for Kamala may do? The impact that may have, not on your Social Security, not on your inflation, how about on the younger generation of kids? Did you think about that? How about on the dynamics of young men and young women? Because the Wall Street Journal just put out an article talking about young men and young women being at war with each other. So how do you think your vote is going to impact that? We're already not having kids. We already can't get on the same page with a woman and a man. We're not married. We're not having kids. We're not. Where did this begin? How did we develop these mindsets? Queez wrote, hey, yo, pull your skirt down, B. Facts. Shout out to Paid in Full. Ant wrote, I don't know if they're lying. They might already be brainwashed and victims to the society's influence here in America. Bez wrote, let her get that bag. To each their own, brother. Shy wrote, he is gay. Maya wrote, I think it comes down to productivity. If you're not being productive, it will create resentment. Yeah. like, ladies, thank you for chiming in. Thank you for letting these lazy niggas know that you need to be productive. Shame on ladies. Y'all should be getting mad at her husband for even saying this goofy stuff. I always sit back and wonder, I'm like, why aren't women, like when you hear these men coming on here saying like, yeah, you know, fellas, it's fine to let your woman work. You know, it's fine to let her be the breadwinner. It's fine to do this, fine. I'm always wondering, like, ladies, why don't y'all push back against this? Why don't you say, no, it's not fine, bro? It's not fine. I'm going to resent you. I'm not going to have sex with you. I'm not going to be turned on by you. I'm not going to. It's like, I don't understand. But I do understand, because this is what society, the Democrats and the liberal approach to a sexy man is like the new sexy for a man for Democrats and liberals is to stay at home and make sandwiches for the family. To just support my wife by any means. Shy wrote, we are tired. I get it. I get it. I would expect you to be tired. The imagined order humans created. I don't know what Bez is saying. Bez, come up with a solution. What's your solution? What's your plan? All right, let's keep going.
Now, fortunately, I have a wife who certainly would never want me to, but that makes me toxically masculine.
I'm glad that you wrote that, Ant, because I felt a little bad. And this is the problem with, and now I'm going to go in a little bit. So Ant wrote, I'm convinced Bez be antagonizing you on purpose. I think Bez is insecure. I think Bez has struggled with insecurity for a while, and I think that Bez's insecurity allows him to come on this show and just say a lot of goofy shit that he doesn't mean, but he just throws it out there. Bez, I'm challenging you. Work harder, do better, make more money. Figure it out. Figure it out. Because I hear a lot of people saying that certain things are okay, but they've never been in a position of the breadwinner. So before you criticize being in that position of being a breadwinner, become one first. Instead of writing goofy stuff on here, bro, grow up. I'm challenging you to grow up. Stop trying to always be the class clown that you were growing up. Grow up. Figure out how you can become the man needed to lead or to make a difference. And if you don't care about making the difference, then stop commenting dumb shit and move on. Nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying women capacity to get the bag. Women have the intellect, bro. This is why I'm glad that Bez did it, because I could use him as an example. But it's just very corny. People are looking at you as a clown, bro. You bring something better to the table than that. Stop minimizing yourself to being a clown all the time and just saying clown shit, bro. Actually bring some substance to the table. Bring some solutions. Bring some suggestions. You become the breadwinner and then tell us, like, hey, this is what I observed as the breadwinner. This is what I observed when I kind of was taking a back seat. This would be the recommendations that I would make moving forward. Let's keep going.
According to Emhoff, who continued to speak out about this subject in an interview with MSNBC the following year. Here's what he said then.
Can we just talk about masculinity for a moment? Has being second gentleman changed your own view of perceived gender roles or what it means to be a man?
This is something I've thought about a lot and something I've spoken about a lot. There's too much of toxicity, masculine toxicity out there, and we've kind of confused what it means to be a man, what it means to be masculine, where you've got this trope out there that you've got to be tough and, angry and lash out to be strong. It's just the opposite. Strength is how you show your love for people. Strength is how you are for people and how you have their back and how you stick up for other people and pushing out against bullies. I mean, that's what I believe it is. So every time I can speak against this toxicity, we're seeing it with our younger people. We're seeing it in our discourse and our politics. In the media, you're seeing it as...
Nah, and don't try to come for people's aid, bro. Don't try to come for people's aid. There's kids out here that lack guidance, and somebody coming in and saying goofy stuff just to be goofy should not be acceptable, bro. And that's the problem. There's no urgency. There's no sense of urgency. I don't know about y'all, but I really look at society and see us having a huge issue. A huge issue. The solution, I'll give you the solution, Bez. I'll give you the solution, Bez, and maybe you can cam up right now. The solution is, you tell me what the solution is. What are the main thing that you lacked growing up? The solution is a strong father in the household. The solution is us accepting our roles and responsibilities of manhood. The solution is the things that we're talking about on this show on a consistent basis. All I got to do is go back and look at the notes, having a plan. Talked about a president and accountability. Those are the same things that we implement in our day-to-day lives. These are the solutions. The solutions are having the courage like a Kanye and a Kyrie to speak out on certain things. The solutions are understanding the history of certain things that are happening so we're not repeating the same things. The solutions are not allowing women to run things and for men to take a back seat when we understand what's going to come from that. The solutions are not having single parent households and excusing the behavior of people getting divorces because things aren't going well. Things just aren't in the best. It's becoming toxic. No, stick it out, figure out how to raise your kids in the best possible position for them to be successful, because those kids did not ask to come in this world. We brought them in this world. That's the solution. Let's start off with a 2-parent household and us emphasizing the benefits that come from that. Let's start highlighting how when you grow up without a father, you become insecure. You lack leadership. You lack certain qualities that give you confidence to say no to some of those negative influences and to still stay on path. Do you need any more solutions, brother? Bez doesn't know whether he wants to be a victim, he does not know what he wants to be. Figure your shit out, bro. Figure your shit out. That's the solution. We're 37 years old. You're in the trucking industry. Figure out how to own your truck. Figure out how to put some money to the side if that's the industry that you want to go in. Learn more about that industry. Figure out what impact that you want to have on society. You just wrote a message talking about leave a legacy. What's going to be your legacy? You choose. And if you don't want to leave a legacy, that's totally fine. But being the class clown and coming into these conversations and just saying dumb shit is not helping to advance anybody that is looking to advance. And the reason why I'm coming at Bez is because he knows better. So, Ant, don't try to call for help. Don't try to say it's dogpiling. No, it's none of that stuff. It's putting out disingenuous information in a clownish way just to try to antagonize somebody, just to try to be the goofy person in the room all the time. Ant wrote, bro, y'all projecting your personal relationship. Y'all both represent the thoughts being put out by society. Dak, I understand where you come from and agree, but whether Bez trolling or not is his opinion. Ant, stop being a sucker, Ant. Stop being a sucker. The fact that you thought he was trolling is because the information that he's putting on that he's writing. That's the whole point. This is not a one-time thing. Y'all know how Bez be in the group chat all the time with this dumb stuff. Like, come on, knock it off, bro. And this is the problem. People don't call people out. Instead of you now trying to play Superman, no, come to him and be like, bro, yo, I get what you're saying. It is a little off. Maybe you should have done it before and it wouldn't have come out in public. But I already addressed this with Bez personally a couple days ago, and now I'm addressing it in front of everybody because you're coming on here and you're writing goofy stuff, bro. Let's keep going. Bro, this is the thing. When you're passionate about something that you really care about, look around, bro. Young boys are suffering, have no leadership to turn to. The only leadership that young boys can turn to is goofy rappers and entertainers. That's the leadership that we have nowadays.
As it relates to so many of the issues that we're pushing back on. So I think it's a problem, and I'm going to continue to use this platform every time I get to speak out against this toxic masculinity that's out there.
Now, we know that first ladies historically are given some little project to go out and do so that they can feel important. For Michelle Obama, it was lecturing us about our bad nutrition. Jill Biden, for her part, has mostly been given the task of changing her husband's diapers. And now we know what First Lady Doug Emhoff will be focused on should Kamala win in November. He'll be sent to the front lines to lead the war against toxic masculinity. Kamala may be a childless cat lady, but she's not a single childless cat lady, which means she has a husband that she can parade around as a mascot for male feminism. The fight against toxic masculinity will go into overdrive if we have a female president with a henpecked husband like Emhoff.
And this is exactly it, Ed. I thought he's trolling because the things he says does not reflect on who I think he is as a person. Let me read this again. Danny DeLito, I don't know who Danny is, but okay, cool. I thought he's trolling because the things he says does not reflect on who I think he is as a person. Granted, I don't know dude like that, but it wasn't that deep to me. Now compiled over time, I get it. This is my point. It's not who he is. It's not who he is. He just jumps on here. It is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. I'm an entertainer, Bez. That's what I got to do. I get worked up. And notice how this is the whole Kanye. This is the whole Charlemagne and envy. Oh, he's getting worked up. Brother, why so serious? Why so serious? All right, cool. I didn't know Bez was just joking. And see, this is the problem when you have conversations with people. This is what ends up happening when you have a conversation about something that you're passionate about, something that you see that's a real problem in the world. And other people have they will sit there and tell you, they'll send you all the messages and the Instagrams and all this other stuff about this problem that society, this problem. You don't even send it to them. They send it to you. And then when you ask them about it, they're like, oh, I don't want to make a change. Like, I don't really care that much. I'm going to make a recommendation. If you're passionate about something, get around other people that are just as passionate or more passionate about it. Because when you surround yourself with people that actually do not care about solving the actual problems and figuring out different ways to get to some solutions, then you're always going to get frustrated. And a lot of times they'll say certain stuff just to throw it out there, just to present this, what is it called? Devil's advocate type of standpoint that doesn't even align with how they truly think. You saying that a woman has the intellect, yeah, women have intellect to do whatever they want. But we're talking about how to advance the families, right? How to when you have a person that's jumping on here saying that he's the standard when it comes to being masculine, and that as somebody I'm all these other areas, that mindset is toxic. That's toxic masculinity. No, I just disagree with it. And said that's why he said he's trolling you. Danny wrote, it's okay to get worked up. He is your man's for real and know how to push your buttons. And this is the thing. I'm not bothered by what Bez said. I use it as an opportunity to call him out on certain stuff and to respond to a lot of other people that may be listening that have the same thoughts. Bez is not bothered by this. If he is, so what? I'm going to call him after the show. Yo, you bothered by it? All right, you feel some type of way? And we'll have a conversation about it. And I'm going to still stand on the things that I'm saying in right here. Bro, step it up. Stop pushing this narrative that you don't even agree with. We have plenty of conversations about this. You know what? Let me keep going. Let me keep going. Let me move on. Shy wrote, be careful, Dak. They're going to say you got a mental illness soon. Ant wrote, but Bez's opinion, if someone else said it, is a valid opinion. I personally think it's destructive, but it should be able to have the convo. Let's have the convo. Bez is literally saying the same thing that the guy's saying. That's why we're having the convo. That's literally the video is being played. You think it's a valid response. I do not think that it's a valid. I do not think that it's valid. I don't think that that's what he actually believes. And hold on. If he really felt the way, he would cam up and shut you down for real. He's not going to cam up. All right, let's keep going.
So things are going to get very cringy very fast. But I can't deny it. Emhoff is the perfect spokesman for this issue. After all, the only truly toxic form of masculinity is emasculated masculinity. In other words, toxic masculinity is non-masculinity. A man is toxic if he is not masculine. Now, this is not how the term is used, of course, by people like Emhoff. For them, masculinity is toxic when there's too much of it and too much emphasis on it. You heard him say, this idea that men are supposed to be tough is to him toxic. He lives in a delusional fantasy world where our culture's greatest problem is its overemphasis on toughness and strength. But that couldn't be further from the mark. Like so much else that we hear from Democrats, it's the opposite of the truth. This is the problem with the term toxic masculinity. In practice, it seems that toxic masculinity can either refer to traditionally masculine traits that are now wrongly regarded as harmful, or actually harmful traits that are wrongly associated with men exclusively. So if it's used in the first sense, it's obviously degrading and damaging because it tells men that their natural masculine dispositions are somehow disordered. There's nothing wrong with telling them to be strong or encouraging them to exercise control over their emotions. Obviously, these messages can be delivered the wrong way, but the fundamental point is good and important. The problem in our culture isn't that boys are being...
You know what's so funny with these conversations? If you sat in front of a group of women, case in point, remember when the Chiefs kicker was given a commencement speech? Imagine sitting down and saying in front of a group of women, let's just say if it's a group of women, and saying it's like, yo, you don't need to, you could just support your man. You don't need to work. There's nothing wrong with your man. He could have a more significant job than you. Like you can stay at home and just support your woman on their job. You would be labeled like the feminists would come out and try to cancel you. Think about that. If her husband was saying what he's saying, instead of talking to men and was talking to women, it happened with the Chiefs kicker. Literally saying the same things to a group of women. If it was just a group of women, he would be labeled as a sexist. Feminists would try to cancel him. They'd say, no, ladies, you need to work. You need to make sure that you're making your impact. You need to stay on your purpose. You need to never forget what your purpose is. Don't slide to the side for your man. This is where we are in society. But when you say it to a man, it's okay. When you say it to a group of men, it's okay. Think about that.
Thrown in a box or forced to conform to some strict notion of masculinity. Again, it's the opposite. In fact, with how men are raised from childhood, too many boys are given no instruction on how to be men, no example to follow, no guidance on how to grow and mature in their masculinity. As the left likes to remind us all the time, we're not living in the 1940s. We aren't. And that means that the era of the strong and stoic man ended a long time ago. We're now living in the era of drag queens and feminism and gender fluidity and fatherless homes. Most boys these days have no clue how to be men, no idea what to do with their masculine energy because nobody's ever told them or shown them. And if anyone does come along and says, well, this is what masculinity is all about, in order to be masculine, you should do this, they're condemned by people like Doug Emhoff. Now, if toxic masculinity is being used in the second sense, used to describe actually harmful behavior, well, then it unfairly blames masculinity for bullying or narcissistic tendencies that have no gender. Right? Then you're just taking, I mean, there could be like bad things that a man does that are actually bad. But then if you come in and say, oh, he's being toxically masculine. Well, now you're just like slandering all of masculinity because of the actions of this one guy. And if you don't understand why men might take issue with that approach, all you have to do is imagine how almost any woman would react if I said that, you know, gossipy, materialistic bimbos have toxic femininity. That would be, at the very least, an unnecessarily inflammatory way of addressing the problem of materialistic bimbos. But worse than that, it would suggest that femininity, taken to an extreme, results in dumb bimbos who spend their husband's money on shoes and purses. So it seems to say, well, it's okay to be a woman, but don't be too womanly. Now, of course, nobody ever does talk about toxic femininity, and the reason we don't talk about it is because we recognize how insulting and demeaning that concept is. We also recognize that it's not possible for a woman to be too much of a woman. With you know, there's not a problem of women being too feminine, but with men, that's the kind of message. Now, as I said, the real toxicity, to use Doug's term, is when men reject masculinity and when women reject femininity. Doug Emhoff knows something.
Let me read. Hold on. A comment. So Danny wrote, female narcissism is rampant in the U.S., unfortunately. The right wing is using it against the people. Double talk, Putin style. Did you mean the left? Hold on. The right is conservative, right? Am I tripping? Somebody... Danny wrote, they use masculinity themselves against men. Break it down for me, Danny. I'm not sure that I understand. I think I understand how the Democrats use female narcissism and how their entire social program plans since Lyndon B. Johnson have been based on trying to leverage female narcissism. Maybe you can explain to me how the right is doing it. Not saying that you're wrong. I'm just not sure that I understand. All right, let's keep going.
Something about that. Cheating on your wife and fathering a child with a nanny is, in fact, it is toxic behavior. It's not toxically masculine behavior. It's toxically unmasculine. Because a man's job is to protect, provide for, and remain loyal to his family. Emhoff failed in that regard. And now he wants to lecture other men about how they should behave. Now, I'm certainly not above listening to the wisdom of other men, especially men older than myself, who have something worthwhile to say about what it means to be a man. But this guy has no wisdom on that issue or any other issue. He's obviously struggling mightily in his own life with what it means to be a man. We don't need to hear him pontificating on the subject. He should save those lectures for when he's looking in the mirror. And that is why Doug Emhoff, the second gentleman, is today canceled. If you'd like to see what else I have to say, you can access my full show by going to dailywire.com or by going to the Matt Walsh Show Twitter.
So, hold on. Hold on. Danny, I think it's the opposite, right? You said lesbian masculinity is being used against men. At the same time they say that men are toxic, they use it themselves. Yeah, I think we're agreeing on the point, but I think we may just not be on the same page as far as like which group is doing that. I see the Democrats doing that. Like, he's a Democrat. The video that we're watching, Kamala Harris, obviously her husband's a Democrat, I would assume. So they're using something to describe men as being toxic. The very things that they push for women to do, when men push for men to do it, they're being toxic. This is why when you go to gyms nowadays, you see a lot more women in the gym than men. Maybe, I can't say that that's the only reason, but this is why it's pushed for women to be in better shape. It's pushed for women to be more ambitious. It's pushed for daughters to go out there and achieve more and have to feel. All this stuff is pushed. But when you push a man to do it, it's being toxic. Both are doing it to divide us. All right. All right, hold on. Let me move on to the next one. And let me do this. Let me apologize to my bro Bez. Let me apologize for putting it out there like I did on live. I'm going to call him and say the exact same thing and press him even more than what I did on this live. And I've already done it before, which is why you kind of saw the agitation. I've actually already done it on the show before, and I've done it on personal, whatever. Neither here nor there. Neither here nor there. See, he just wrote something. See, this is the thing. See, this is the thing. All right. Let's do this. Let's do this. Bez wrote that we're all entitled to opinions until it doesn't agree with yours. You asked me for my solution, right, Bez? What is your solution? Based on the things that you were writing, I tried. Based on, let's do a deep dive with this. You said that people are entitled to opinions until it doesn't agree with yours. Is this my opinion? Bez, you grew up without a father in the household. Is it my opinion, or is it a fact that young men do better when they have a father who's a strong leader in the household? Is that an opinion, or is that backed with stats? Is it opinion, or is it a stat? Is it my opinion that women are pushed more to follow their purpose, to pursue their dreams, to live more purposeful lives, to be empowered? Is that my opinion that Democrats are purposely doing that at the expense of men? Or is that just a fact? Is it my opinion that boys are less likely to get locked up, little girls are less likely to get pregnant earlier when they live in a two-parent household? Or is that just a fact? Is it an opinion or a fact when you have a man in the household that kid's less likely to be sexually abused by family, friends, or whoever else? Is it my opinion, or is it a fact when you're dating a woman and they live with their father that there's a different type of energy and a different respect given to that woman and given to that potential relationship than if the father wasn't in the household? Is that my opinion, or is that a fact? So once again, Bez, you asked me what's my solution. I'm asking you, based on the thoughts that you've thrown out here, what is your solution? And what is your solution, based on opinions, or is it based on facts? We'll wait a little bit. Because you know how they say, what do they say? No questions. There's no dumb questions. Maybe that's true. Maybe it's not. I don't know. But when it comes to certain things that we see that are happening in reality, we see certain things that are happening. We see the intention of society and what they've done, whether it was with the social programs. When you talk about incentivizing, let's actually stay on this topic. Let's actually stay on this topic. In the military, why do you make more money when you're married? Why do you make more money when you're married? Why are you incentivized to be married in the military compared to you're incentivized by the Democratic Party and all their social programs? You're incentivized to not be married. Why, when we look at the social programs and the impact that they've had since Lyndon B. Johnson pushed these programs out about 70 years ago, when we look at the impact, why do we not look at it and say, okay, regardless of what the intent was, this is how it's destroying our families? Why do we not look into it? Because we're lazy, because we just want to rely on Democratic politicians who want us in chaos, who want us struggling, who want us living in poverty, because then they can present a solution to that problem. They sell a particular product. Their product, I'll give you an example. If I wear a size 10 shoe and I go to the store and they got the best shoe in the world and it's a size 14, do I care? They can't, that product's not for me. That products, when they want to sell blood pressure medicine, when big pharmaceuticals wants to sell all this medicine to people, they have to solve a problem, right? Their medicine is solving a problem. So they need sick people. When they need to fill up the hospital beds, they need people sick or they go bankrupt. So Democrats have figured out that the problem that they need to create in order to sell their product is to have families that are discombobulated, mostly led by women, and that do not have strong male leadership. Because then they can come in and replace the father in the household. They can be the provider. They can be the protector. They can be the person that's going to guide the family one way or another. And they will always have the loyalty of that black woman. And I'm talking specifically in the black community, but it's overall as well. We just know that it's magnified in the black community. So once again, let me look back down. Let me look back down. I don't see Bez writing any solution. So you can challenge me to have a solution. You can throw out this thing, we're all entitled to opinions until it doesn't agree with yours. No, I have no problem entertaining any opinion, but present your opinion to where when you're writing stuff, the rest of the chat doesn't already assume that it's just trolling. There's a reason why Ant thought it was trolling. There's a reason why I saw it and read it the way that I read it and just moved on. What is your solution? What do you recommend? Everybody always wants to have an opinion and think that everybody's opinion should hold the same level of validity, but no, that's not just the case. That's not the case. I don't agree with that. If there's an expert in a particular area that I'm not an expert in, or if there's something that should somebody else's opinion on football, on let's say we're watching football and there's a play that a safety makes. If you've never played football, should your opinion be like, if you're not interested in research in that particular area, if you're not backing it up with any facts, if you're not looking into it, no. So I'm going to ask you the same thing that you asked me. What is your solution? Everybody likes to just throw out certain stuff, play devil's advocate, be the funny guy in the room, but we are actually suffering. And then what do we say when somebody responds? Bro, why are you getting so worked up about it? It's all good. Why are you getting so worked up? Oh, yo, are they angry? That person's angry. Oh, that person, they're a little bit off. They got a little mental health, right? And then we drive them to abuse substances. Now it's like, oh, they got substance. Come on, man. Come on, man. So Bez just wrote, get married, have children, raise a great family, start a business, make money, write books, change the world is a solution. Okay. Can we move on? Can we move on? Can we move on? Is that not what I've been saying on this entire show for the very same time? Have a great raise a great family. Yeah. How do you raise a great family? Should you raise it as a single parent or should you raise it together with your significant other? Make money. Okay. Make money. Should we just rely on the woman to make the money or should we also be included in that making money? All right, let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. I wanted to show y'all. All right, I know it's late. Let's just stay at home. Oh, I thought he was talking about stay at home, like via. Hold on. Hold on. I don't. Y'all gonna amp that. What is Danny saying? Hold on. Did I miss something that Danny wrote? Danny, you said I got something mixed up. Tell me what I got mixed up. Let's address Danny. Hold on. So Danny wrote that it's the right wing of politics that want people sick. So let me be very clear with what Danny's saying. Danny's saying that it's the right wing that wants people sick. I'm going to disagree. And I'm going to tell you why you're wrong, Danny. And people can agree with it, disagree with it, but I'm going to tell you why you're wrong. And maybe I'm wrong in saying this. You notice, you said that in an earlier comment that you made, that it's both sides doing certain things to get us to divide, right? Danny, are you from the United States? Were you around during COVID? Do you understand who Big Pharma works with? BlackRock, all those companies that invest into Big Pharma? Those are the people that pay these politicians. Those are the people that pay these politicians. Those are the people that fund MSNBC. Those are the people that fund Fox. I don't know what makes you think that that's more of a right-wing thing than a left-wing thing. If I was going to lean one way or another, I probably would lean more left. But let's address it from both. Both are being funded by big pharmaceutical companies. Both are being funded. We just had Anthony Fauci up here, who was the director of World Health, I believe, and RFK Jr. put it out there that he was receiving royalties from putting out the vaccine. Big Pharma controls both parties. So for you to sit here and say that, oh, it's the right wing that wants people sick, I've never even heard that. I'll be totally honest. So, okay, now you're agreeing with me, Danny. Now you're saying, oh, they work with all of them. That's right. Both are funded. Okay. So why did you write it's the right wing that want people sick? All right, let's move on. Let's move on. I'm doing too much of this. Yeah. All right. Like, Big Pharma is not going to put themselves in a position to where they're going to lose a significant amount of money no matter who's in office. Big Pharma funds both right wing, left wing. It funds all of them. They want us sick. And when you want to talk about specifically about who wants us impoverished, who wants us in poverty, Danny, that's the left wing. Those are the Democrats, because the more poverty that we're in, the more their social programs, when they convince us that there's not a level playing field, so therefore it's always going to be a disadvantage for you. So the only way for you to be successful as a broke, impoverished person living in the hood is to rely on our democratic policies. So therefore we can give you programs to advance you in society. And it's so funny that during COVID, what a lot of people were saying is that the inner cities were suffering more because they were living in poverty. So therefore, your health, when you go to the hood, you're telling me that the right wing wants you sick. When you go to the hood and you got nothing but liquor stores, Crown Fried Chicken, Chicken Shack, when you got all this terrible food, you're telling me that that's just the right wing? I disagree. All right, so now you're saying this is another argument that people like to make. All right, Danny, let's do it, Danny. Look at the red states. They are the poorest. What's your point? What's your point? You're saying that the red states overall are the poorest, right? Okay. When you look at a New York City, when you look at a Baltimore, when you look at a Chicago, when you look at a LA, when you look at a Houston, when there's a significant amount of people living there, New York will never reflect the type of poverty that an Alabama has. It will never, because you're only looking at one aspect of it, but what you're not realizing is look at the disparity of income between the people that are in poverty in New York compared to the people that are living on Park Ave. There's a huge disparity between the two that you're not taking into consideration. They both want people. Look, people in power want people to rely on them, period. People in power work hard to figure out how can I get as many people as possible to rely on me, to need me. That's what it is. Democrats have their tactics. That's why they always push victimhood. That's why they always want people to feel like victims, to feel like something's owed to them. That's their approach. Republicans have a different approach. You get to choose which one. All right, I don't. Danny's telling me I'm only looking at it from one perspective. I don't know. All right, yeah, Danny, you should cam up. You should cam up one show. You should definitely cam up one show. You should cam up one show. All right, let's move on to the next one. All right, boom, 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 boom. Shoot, hold on. I don't know if we're gonna. Do we have time for this one? All right, I want to share this conversation with y'all. This interview with Candace and Kanye real quick, and then we're gonna wrap it up from there because I know that we're already going over. But I want to show y'all this because it's kind of talking about the same things that we're discussing here. Hold on. Hold on. What was it? 34. Hold on. I got the timestamp. Give me a second. I got the timestamp. 1:13:11. Oh, we already there pretty much. All right, take a look at this conversation, or take a listen.
In Mexico,
yeah,
right?
On your border.
So imagine in Mexico that we come up with and however we got there, I mean, yeah, we put our thumb on the scale, but we get a trade deal going with Mexico. You know, they were thinking about doing a trade deal with the Chinese or something like that, but we convinced them, well, you trade with.
All right, Danny, you're telling me to look at links in the middle of a show? That's what you want me to do? How about this? I'll give you a link to look at. How about you look at that link? You cam up, we have a conversation. Is that better? Because I can't keep trying to do the show and then you telling me I didn't even see a link that you put in. You're telling me that I'm running from a link? You click that link. How about that?
With the Chinese, you won't be able to trade with us, but we'll give you a big generous loan if you sign this trade deal with us. And they go, okay, we'll sign a trade deal with that. And then China comes in and overthrows that government and installs a government who wants to take a deal with China. And then a civil war breaks out. And then they start flooding arms in to the civil war. What do you think DC would do? They'd back off? They'd go, well, I guess that's Chinese territory now down there in Mexico.
That's classic American gaslighting. It makes me sick. It's like we have done so much to so many people around the world, like since the beginning of time. And when you start trying to interject that into the American conscience, because now I'm telling people all this information because I'm trying to stop another war from happening because people don't have any information, because they really do believe that when they see Ukraine trending and a bunch of people putting like the blue and yellow flag up, that must mean Ukraine good. Like that is where the American mindset is right now. And they are intentionally, like I am telling you, the public school system, the public education system was passed through, was federalized with the intention to make American students dumber and dumber and dumber objectively, more emotional, but objectively dumber, which is a fact right now, which is why one of the most brilliant things that I think Matt Walsh did, or he spoke about on the show, he just challenged people to go read a letter from a Civil War soldier writing to his mom who had no educational training whatsoever, and it sounds like poetry, right? And then you go find someone who just graduated university with like a 3.7 like GPA and just read how they write and how they speak, and you will recognize we are becoming dumber and dumber. Objectively, the SATs, they're getting rid of honors classes. They don't even want people to know they're getting dumber. In fact, they're convincing them they're smarter. The great paradox is while we are objectively getting dumber in terms of mathematics, in terms of the English language, we are at the same time giving out more degrees than ever before. So we're inflating people's egos while they're becoming legitimately more retarded. And I'm using that as like not as an insult to
the literal definition of the
retarded.
Word.
So we are slowing people down. And I see that is intentional. I see how evil, how Machiavellian it is. And when you see these kids and they're enraged and they're fighting for trans rights, somewhere in the back, the evil cabal, which I very much believe there is a cabal that is running the government, and by another name would be the CIA, it would be all of these intelligence agencies that are.
And I wanted to focus on my fault. I was looking something up real quick, but I'm not sure if she mentioned it, but if she mentioned it yet, I think she did. She was talking about how Matt Walsh was talking about a story between, he was giving a story of somebody that was at war. I think it was World War II. And he said, look at this letter that was written by a soldier with no educational, college training and everything like that. Look at and he was describing the way that the soldier was writing the letter to whoever he's writing it to. And then compare that to a college educated kid trying to write a letter or an email now. The education system was never intended to actually educate us. If it was, then if we looked at all these inner cities that Danny likes to point out, and Danny just called, I probably won't, I'll be totally honest. After Danny just wrote that Candace Owens is a fool, I probably won't give too much, you can disagree, right? But saying that Candace is a fool, I don't think any intelligent person thinks that Candace is a fool, but neither here nor there. Why I say that the education system was not designed to educate, look at the numbers. Look at the numbers. Kids cannot read. How do we have and celebrate the most amount of this group, graduating with higher degrees? And you look at all these inner cities and the kids cannot read at their proper grade level. You look at Chicago. Have y'all seen some of the articles? We've shown them on the show where literally an entire grade of kids in the entire city, like nobody's reading at the proper reading level. We've seen it in Baltimore. We've seen it in DC. We've seen it in Chicago. We've seen it in different cities in Louisiana. And these are some of the highly funded cities, even if their state is poor. These are some of the cities with some of the largest budgets, but the kids cannot read. If my goal, going back to what I said earlier about a football team, if you do not win, if you do not accomplish your job, you get fired. You get fired. We figure out a new system. We are living in a country that we're claiming we are the greatest country in the world, and kids cannot read, and we are okay with it. We're over here arguing about critical race theory and what books should be included in the library, and not even focusing on the fact that the kids can't even read. That's the world that we're living in right now.
Linked to each other around the world. When that evil cabal is just laughing because you have no information. So they know eventually, right now, covered this on my show, 40% of kids can't pass a basic literacy exam in America. So eventually, your reality will be what we tell you. So when we say, this is what happened, you won't be able to read what went down in 2014 in Ukraine. Putin is the bad guy. He's going to kill you.
Hold on. Ant wrote something. Ant wrote, Dak, you sent the link. He got to get at least 5 minutes. Let's hear him out. He can cam up. I said, I'm not responding to the group. Cam up. Cam up. Perfectly fine with that. I'm perfectly fine. Jump on. We'll have a respectful conversation. You can give your opinion on certain things. I'll give my response and we'll go from there. Cam up.
He has nukes. You'll be signing up to go to a war and to go die overseas. That is what is happening. You have to wake up to that. You need to actually become educated. Make sure your kids can learn how to read and know that everything they're telling you, they're lying to you about what's happening presently. Can you imagine how much we are being lied to about what happened in the past?
When they could get away with so much more.
Are you overwhelmed with back taxes or struggling with unfiled returns?
So hold on, I may listen to a couple more seconds of this. Dope interview. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. Dave Smith, yo, he's a comedian. I didn't even know that he was a comedian. He's probably one of my favorite voices on dissecting politics. He's not Republican. He's not Democrat. He calls out the Democrats. He can't stand Trump, I don't think. So for all y'all that just, he may be a good person to listen to, at least to initially get you to maybe think outside of your fanaticism with your political affiliation with either the Democrats or the Republicans. He's not affiliated with either. Like I said, he calls out the Democrats, and I think based on what I've heard from him, he can't stand Trump.
Of Americans. I mean, I remember seeing recently, and this was at the Columbia protests over,
Nah, Ant. I haven't received anything. If he wants to jump on, he could jump on.
Free Palestine protests or whatever, which is, is, if people know me, is an issue I'm fairly sympathetic to them on. Like, I'm totally against this war and they're protesting against the war. But I mean, they're going around like interviewing Columbia students there. And I just was blown away by how stupid all of them sound. I mean, it's like,
I do want to address this though, this comment. I guess I get to pick and choose. Ant said it's my platform. Danny wrote that she's working against her own people's interest. Let me ask you, Danny, are you white or black? Or whatever, what are you? Because I'm noticing that a lot of people, a lot of liberals that are not black, they tend to call out Candace Owens and to say that she's working against her people's interest. As somebody who's a black person, I would love to know your perspective on why you think Candace Owens and what she does is working against her own people's interest. That's one question I do have.
This isn't even just like a college. This is like an Ivy League college. You would think like people protesting a war at an Ivy League college have probably read a couple books about it, you know what I mean, and know what they're talking about, and just the way they speak and how ignorant they are of the whole thing. It's really, it was jarring to see. And yet my grandfather, who worked in a factory and never even thought about going to college, him and all his friends who worked at factories were all way smarter than this. They knew things in the world. They read books and they knew what was going on in the world around them. And it's Matt Walsh is totally right about that. There's been, and your point I think is really, really important, can't be overstated enough, that also at the same time, that person, that kid there is I go to Columbia, and I have this, I'm getting this piece of paper that means something. And so they have this crazy inflated sense of self.
A crazy inflated sense of self. Crazy inflated sense of self. That's actually what Danny said. But he was saying that the Republicans do it with the female narcissism. I think that this is probably something that a lot of us struggle with. And it's because society right now, based on what they're saying, I would agree that you have the most highly educated people. Let me say, we have the most degrees. We have the most degree having people ever right now. But do you think that we are smarter? That we are more knowledgeable? Or do you think that we are just indoctrinated? And my question would be, when I think back to college, what did y'all learn in college? What was the most valuable thing that you learned in college in the classroom? What was something that you used from college on a day-to-day basis here? And I'm not talking about your grad school, which was specific. Maybe if you studied to become a doctor. Okay, yeah, clearly you're in MD school. You're going to be doing things that you're going to be doing as a doctor. But when it comes to just high school, college, what do we learn? What do we learn? if we were learning things like debate, if we were learning things like how to balance a checkbook, if we were learning things like how to pay taxes, how taxes work, if we were learning things about how the government works, if we were learning things about business, if we were learning things about insurance, if we were learning things that were actually relevant to us being adults and succeeding in society, then my opinion on it would be totally different. But what do we learn about?
That they're like a really smart person, where it's like, you're dumber than an average factory worker from a couple generations ago.
You're not smart, kid. In
Yeah.
fact, you're so dumb because at least that person knew how to survive. Then you couple that with the fact that the majority of these people, and I am convinced, and this is not a conspiracy theory, this is what I tell people every day, okay? They are recreating.
Okay. Danny wrote, white from Denmark, the happiest country in the world. I know how to make a happy country. Lived in the Caribbean, married a black woman, have a child with her. Starting to make sense. All right. And the reason why I'm saying it's starting to make sense, I find that I'm just being totally honest. I find that a lot of black women that marry white men, they tend to be the ones that are more, they adopt the white culture. Where I've seen, it just is what it is. Y'all know I'm a straight shooter with this. When I see white women have kids with black men, I think that women are just more protective overall. So when I've seen this, I see that the white women more tend to adopt the black culture. Neither here nor there, but that's just what I see. You look at like a Malcolm X, you look at Malcolm X is a little bit different, but that's just what I see. And I think there's a mentality around it. Why I'm saying that, because think about it. When you're a white woman, you grow up with a certain way of life, a certain way of thinking. Then when you date a black man, you start to realize like, damn, my families, they may not be cool with that, or I'm getting these certain type of looks. I'm getting these. Then you have a baby with that black man. And you start to realize that maybe some of your family members and friends did not have the same outlook on race relations that you thought they had, because now it's actually in your family. And I think that causes a lot of the white women to be very protective over their kids and very aware, almost like hypersensitive to what their kid that they just brought into the world may end up going through. So that's neither here nor there. My question would be, okay, you're a white guy from Denmark. Cool. I'll take advice from anybody. What makes you think? I want to be very clear, and maybe let me make sure that you didn't already write it. What makes you think that Candace Owens, what did you just hear her say that makes you think that she's working against her own people? Please help me understand how Candace Owens is working against her own people. You do not live in this country. I would assume that I don't know what's going on in Denmark. So I'm just assuming that you don't know the ins and outs and the experience of being in this country. You said that you lived in the Caribbean, so I'm assuming that you never lived in this country. What I'm asking you is what makes you think that what Candace Owens is doing is working against her own people? Dang, I'm missing out on all these chats. Hold on. My fault. Hold on. Let me try to catch up on the chat. Danny wrote, the female idea of self-confidence is a woman thing. Before, it was only about personality. Ant wrote, the most valuable thing I learned in college was not in the classroom. Fact, same here. Danny wrote, they are saying a lot of truths. Hold on. Come on, Danny. Damn it, Danny. You just said that she's an idiot. You see the problem? You just came on and said that she's an idiot. And now I'm scrolling through the comments, and now you're saying they're saying a lot of truths. Ant wrote, I learned that college is a sifting process that puts people of societies in different groups, classes, and demographics, depending on location, college, and study. Danny wrote, I knew I would get that. I knew a lot of Danny. You just commented. You came on here talking about Candace Owens is an idiot, and I think you used the word idiot. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't feel like scrolling back. And now you're saying, oh yeah, they're speaking a lot of truths. Okay. She says a lot of truths. I agree. All right. All right. I gotta reconfigure how my involvement in this chat from now on. I'm gonna reprocess some stuff. Let me Aunt wrote, my ex-wife is white, Danny, European, not American. So I'm open to your opinion. If you don't mind, who are her people, Dems, or do you mean black? Good question. But they twist it, fuck it up, and then say they're the only ones to fix it. Standard for thousands of years. Double talk. I already told you. What's the double talk? You said that a couple times. I don't know what you mean. And who are you talking about? They twisted. F it up. I don't know. Both things can be true. Oh man, Bed's still here. All right. Let's move on from there. Matter of fact, we got to wrap it up. I want to play a couple different Instagram videos for y'all. Then I got to hang up and call Bez. And yeah, so I don't want to play it. Let's play a little bit of a funny one. Let's say since we're talking about. Hold on. And Ant, you started this shit, man. All right, let's take a look at this one. I thought that this was a funny one. I forget who sent me this. I think my buddy Jay Gold. Hold on. Oh, wait. No.
Before I discovered a brain.
Hold on.
I used to believe everything I'd see on the news, but that's before I discovered a brain.
A brain is meant for everyday use. Those living with moderate to severe stupidity have seen immediate improvement in common sense with a brain.
I thought the government had my best interests at heart, and then a friend told me about a brain.
Talk to your doctor about what news sources you obey. A brain may also lower your desire to take life-altering advice from celebrities.
Getting lectured about my carbon footprint from people with 3 private jets used to make sense. But thanks to a brain, now I can think for myself every day. When my disregard for 3rd grade biology began to flare up, I knew it was time for a brain.
Do not try a brain if you're allergic to a brain. Common side effects may include accountability, discernment, homeschooling your kids, a better understanding of economics, awareness of the stupidity of socialism, and diarrhea.
For tethering yourself to reality, the only no-brainer is choosing a brain. Ask your doctor if a brain is right for you.
For more information, visit tryabrain.com.
That was a good one, right? All right, so I got a couple more that I want to show y'all. Hold on. Last one. Shout out to
Let me read something to you real quick. Mean a lot to me.
Gonna finish it.
Man, I ain't trying to cry, but let me read something. It's been on my phone for 5. Break generational curses. Quit yelling at your kids before they go to bed and expect them to sleep well. Quit yelling at your kids in the morning right after they wake up before school and expect them to have a good day. You set the tone for your children. You set the tone for your voice. They will always remember in their heads. You become the inner voice. Don't be the inner critic. Speak life, speak love, speak bravery, kindness and hope. Speak wisdom and truth. Most of all, listen to your children. Let me read something to you real quick. Mean a lot to me.
All right, so we're gonna finish up. Y'all take that out. Y'all want to take it. Guess that goes back to the whole family structure and everything like that. So very quickly. All right, so let me ask you, Danny, you said certain people were double talking. You finished off by just writing, I'm a world citizen. I have no special whatever. We are all one. We are all one. We talk about that being on this show all the time. That's what godliness is, our universal connection to each other, in my opinion. Then you write, I want peace, nothing else. Is that not double talking when you come on and I show a Candace video and your first thing is to write, she's an idiot? Your first thing is to write, she's working backwards she's harming her own people. And then when I asked you about how she's harming her own people, you still haven't written anything. When I sent you the link to Cam Up, you didn't want to Cam Up. That's perfectly fine. But then when I asked you to respond to what you were saying as far as her being an idiot or as far as her working against her own people, you did not have a response. You had a response for everything else. You accused me of not wanting to open up certain links that you sent, but now you're running from me asking you a question. And now you're just running to a place where we all can agree on and say we're all one. Yeah, we're all one, but bruh, you got to address some of the things that you mentioned earlier on. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's easy to say that the government or this politician's double talking. That's cool. That's cool. But what about when you come on and say she's an idiot, but then say, no, she speaks truth? Sounds like a little bit of double talking to me, but it's all good. Ant wrote, Danny, respectfully, I believe your opinion of all of us being one is coming from a place of privilege. I used to think like that too when I was younger, but really taught me that we are not the same. Oof. And then hold on. So Danny wrote, I can't expect you to understand it. That's what's so gross about double talk. Cool. Ant wrote, Dak, Danny is standing on business. Sometimes his business can be double talk. Laughing my ass off, embodying the spirit of bad. See, Ant being funny. Yo, all right, we need some meditation. We need some meditation. Danny wrote, that's white, right? He said, that's right. That's right, Ant. White privilege is real. See, that's your man's. That's your man's. You was celebrating him earlier, right? Now he coming at you. Nah, man. All right, yeah. That's some more double talk. We're all one. White privilege is real. Yeah, whatever. All right, yo. All right, stop. Yo. All right, so y'all know what it is. We do our 30 to 45 seconds of meditation. It's Friday. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to meditate on. I'm going to meditate on how I got to call Bez and apologize to Bez for calling him out. I did it on the show. I'm gonna apologize for calling him out, but I my energy will be very strong as far as the things that I addressed on the show. It's going to be even stronger on the phone because I got a lot of questions. But even so, I almost think that I'm making Bez out to be weak by even apologizing to him. I'll be totally honest. But no, apologize because it was in front of y'all. That's what I apologize. I apologize to my bro because it was in front of y'all, but and no but. Remember, once you say but after excuse, apologize to my bro Bez. Bez is a very special person to me. Y'all already know. If y'all know me, then y'all know how special Bez is to me. I hold Bez to a very high standard. It is what it is. But that's what I'm gonna take my 30 to 45 seconds to meditate on. Y'all 30 to 45 seconds, silence, meditate. Think about whatever it is that you need to think about. It's Friday, it's the fourth quarter. What do you need to finish? What mindset? Don't think about the things that you need to finish, but just think about the mindset that you want to approach the rest of the day with. So 30 to 45 seconds, let's go. All right. Let me make sure that I caught up with the chat. All right. Yo, I appreciate that, Ed. Wait, what? Wait. All right, I'm just gonna all right. So Ant wrote, bro, we all one in family here. You ain't air out no one, man. Sign double. All right. Let me peace, love, and light. All right, let's get some peace. Lucille in the building. Peace, love, and light. Have a great day ahead of everyone. Yo, Queen sent the fire emojis and sent the fire emojis. Y'all know what it is. Onward and upward, strength and honor. Get to the bag. Whatever's in your bag, you decide. Y'all know what we're here for. To elevate on purpose, both from an intentional standpoint as well as becoming what we need to become in order to move in a positive direction. All right, what's in y'all bag that y'all get into? I don't know. What's in mine? What is it? Health, wealth, integrity, peace, love, and happiness. So on that note, yo, Queen's funny. And the fire emoji is yo, man, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate all the different opinions. I really do. Appreciate everything. Appreciate Double Talk, Danny. Yeah, hopefully Danny, now I'm going to press him a little bit. Hopefully Danny won't be scared and one day he'll cam up. But nah, I'm just joking. Danny, tell us more about Denmark. We look forward to learning more about Denmark, so maybe we can implement some of that peace out here. And then on that note, I'll see y'all on Monday, man. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all weekend. Or enjoy y'all weekend. Enjoy your day. Have a great weekend. All right, I'll see y'all soon. Ew.